so we're going to go right to the Fed. This is from CNBC. Fed holds rates steady as it notes rising uncertainty and stagflation. Oh, wait a minute. Breaks uncertainty in the headline again? What are you talking about? All right, the Federal Reserve held its key interest rate unchanged in a rate range between 4.25 and 4.5, where it has been since December. Quote, uncertainty about the economic outlook has increased further. Womp, womp, womp. Hey, guys, here's what's weird. Remember that we were heading for a soft landing not too long ago, and now we're talking about economic uncertainty? I thought the uncertainty would happen in 21 or 22 or 23, or because of the election in 24. Those were all the reasons you all gave. But
you know what?
Here we are.
You know what I heard the other day from what's his name? Kevin Paffra.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
So he's on YouTube. He's a.
Are you talking about Ask Kevin?
Yeah, Ask Kevin. Ask Kevin. Okay. So he.
I actually don't know his last name.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, hey, Ask Kevin. Ask Kevin. That's what it was.
Ask Kevin. If you actually ever see our show, put your last name in the comment box.
But anyway, Ask Kevin. He went up and said he's talking about inflation and the Fed and all this, and he's like, popular to contrary opinion, in the long run, they are going to argue that inflation was transitory if you look at it from, a large enough spectrum. But I just thought it was funny that you brought that up because it's like, how they're going to find a way to spin that.
Because they said they were going to be data-driven, and now they're not being data-driven. We're going to be data-driven our decision. We're going to be data-driven from here on out. We're going to be data-driven, and we're going to let that make our decision. But then direct quote saying, uncertainty about the economic outlook has increased further. Well, okay, dude, come on. That's not data no more. So that bothers me. And then now their mandate hasn't changed, right? They got to make sure they kind of control unemployment and then they control pricing. But remember, they tried to force the economy into higher unemployment by raising the rates as fast as they did to try to temper down inflation, like keep price controls. Now they're trying to do the opposite. Oh, we got to make sure that unemployment doesn't go run away on us. Well, what do you mean? Did the data change? Because if the data changed, then share with us what data changed. Otherwise, now you're using this whole uncertainty bullcrap to fuel this whole, we got to keep unemployment in check. They didn't care about it. They were saying they needed to see the unemployment get bad. They said we need to see weakening in the employment data in order to know that we can fight inflation. That was their whole thing.
Yeah.
And now here we are. They're shifty. This is my whole shifty. I said this real early in the show. This is the part I was like, hey, y'all being super shifty right now, and you want us to have trust in you, but you're literally making it worse. Stop making it worse.
Yeah. Well, let's just remember, too, last year, how many jobs were created?
Over created. 880. I went back and looked. It's 880,000.
That's a lot of jobs.
That's like 63,000 per year or per month or something like that.
That's just to tell you the importance of the labor market, our unemployment. So unemployment, again, because it's right now they're doing, we just saw 177,000 jobs just created.
Well, yeah, and that was better than what was estimated. So again, is that going to be data? They're going to let the data tell the story or our sentiment?
But it does, right? Even though they're saying it doesn't,
I think it does.
Or it does. It has to. And that's what's keeping interest rates where they're at right now. And then our inflation is right now, it's doing okay. The whole thing of why we haven't seen the interest rates drop down as much as we wanted to see them, because we already also saw the 10-year yield go down, in comparison to last year. Mm-hmm. So I think we should be like in the mid-60s, low 6s, but it hasn't because of the whole tariff situation that we're encountering right now. That just brings this whole uncertainty. Like, yeah, is that going to bring inflation? Yes, everybody's saying yes, but we have yet to see that.
Here's what's so funny about that is I agree with what you're saying, because it's like, we just don't know what's going to happen. What are the ripple effects, right? And then how delayed will they be through the manufacturing into the economy, onto the shelf, into the labor force, into people's pocketbooks. I understand all that downstream stuff, right? I 100% get that. You know what's funny? You know who doesn't seem to get that? All the traders dumping money into the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ, because they don't seem to think at all that there's a problem on the horizon, because if there were, then I would think there might be a little bit more selling on the table, which isn't happening because charts are up and to the right,
Stocks
which you like
up.
seeing when people are confident. They feel like the future is bright economically and financially, and they have more to gain by buying and holding than by selling and taking cash. So it doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up. But you know what's adding up is people are listening. They're listening to, Mr. Trump. And he just talked about the whole idea of being diverse, not only with your housing, but you have to be bullish when it comes to the stock market, because he's saying we're going to have one of the best economies. And I'm seeing a lot of people just kind of dumping their stuff in there and just saying. And so you're mentioning the traders, there's a lot of influence.
And even that's changed because there's been like this decoupling. And I know we've talked about decoupling in a different sense where it's like, hey, if the stock market's doing one thing, the bond market should be doing the other. Correct. Why are they going in the same way on some days? And then there's also this other decoupling is a lot of politicians, whether you like Biden or hate Biden, whether you like Trump or hate Trump, when the stock market's doing good, they'll say the economy is doing good.
Yeah.
When the economy is doing bad, they won't point at the stock market and go, hey, look how bad it's doing. So, you take your victory lap, but also just because the stock market's doing good doesn't mean the economy is doing good. And the reason is because not everybody plays in the stock market. I know the companies that employ people, yes, they might be doing good as a business because their stock price is increasing, which means they can keep employees, which means they're not increasing unemployment. I get all that stuff. But not everyone is an investor in the stock market, and they're not gaining from that in an economic sense.
So that being said, my sentiment and bringing it back to, buyers and sellers, I feel that, you need to act when the rates dip and actually take those actions because we know that we're going to be playing a higher elevated mortgage rate environment, and you have to be prepared to act quickly because even if the rate drops by 0.5%, that's $120 that you could shave off your payment. And if that's good enough for you and that's what you're looking for, then, don't get greedy and get what you can get right now that benefits you in the way that's going to help you, down the line.
Yeah, I would say if these things aren't directly affecting you and your ability to afford qualifying for a house, buying a house, doing a refinance, doing an FHA streamline, doing a VA IRRRL, buying, not buying down, doing a HELOC to get an ADU, do a garage conversion, like still run your play, like run the play in your life that you need to run, regardless of what the Fed's saying you're doing, because clearly we can't trust what they're showing us.
And for sellers, make your house attractive to sell this summer. Show that you can give those incentives. Be wanting to work with buyers that, want to buy your house. Because if you just play the card of, hey, I'm going to wait for buyers to come into me. No. It's time for you to come down off your high horses. Yeah, you want to list your house for $1 million, but hey, maybe the market's not there for that anymore and you missed the chance. That's okay. Doesn't mean you can't sell your house. You're just not going to profit as much, but you still can move to Florida to wherever you want to go and retire happily.
Yeah.
I'd say don't let the tail wag the dog. Mm-hmm. Right now, it feels like the tail's trying to wag the dog. Don't let that tail wag you around in the decisions that you're going to make. I don't buy into the whole overall uncertainty thing. I certainly don't buy into the stagflation thing, which I didn't touch. I'm not going to go into that. That's like a tirade. That's like a tirade and a rant. I can just make it a reel about. Actually, I can't because the reels are too short for that. But I don't think we're going to see more inflation and unemployment at the same time. For those of you hearing stagflation for the first time, stagflation is when you have unemployment and inflation going up at the same time. We kind of already had that. And again, they covered it up and didn't say it was stagflation, but it was. And I don't think we're going to see it again. But anyways. Yeah. Make your own play, everybody.
When do you guys think, I know we talked to this about a couple of months ago. I was thinking the Fed was going to reduce the Fed funds rate on the June 17-18 meeting. Now, with that said, there was an 87% chance that was going to happen.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, now it's like 83% chance they're going to hold in June.
Exactly.
Jesus and Christ. It's like 83% chance they're going to hold in June. So now they changed the terminology. They're like, hey, it's 80% chance they're going to cut. Oh, they didn't cut. Okay, now we'll just say it's an 83% chance they're going to hold.
Reduction. Cut. Like it's funny because only they know the verbiage that they're using, and everybody's like, "Yo, whoa."
I think they're going to do it in the fall. I think if they do a rate cut, it'll be in the fall meeting, right before the winter one. Well, I know there's several. So maybe around the September time frame, plus or minus a couple of weeks. I don't know if it's September, October, whichever one. In the fall, I think we'll see a rate cut. I don't think they're going to do it in the summer because I don't think they need to. I think if they are being data reliant, let's give them the benefit of the doubt for a second, guys. Let's say they're being data reliant and they see what we're talking about. Mortgage rates are lower this year than they were last year. Oh, applications are up. Oh, prices are flat. Oh, inventory's coming back. Yeah. Guess what? He can just put his arms behind his back, kick his feet up, sip a lemonade, be like, hey, everything looks like it's fine, and we haven't had to put our finger on anything.
Yeah.
But I think that's what they're weighing on.
He did. Powell emphasized this during the conference. The economic itself is still solid shape. And
that's what I'm saying.
One of the reporters asked him, like, hey, so what do you think? Where we're heading? Where is it going? Like, the consumer is feeling the pressure.
He's like, no, they're not.
And he's saying, no, our data doesn't show that.
Yeah.
Well, it was the best, right? Like, wait a minute. I know when I go to pump the gas. I know when I go buy eggs. When I actually don't, but the wife does.
When the eggs are bought for you.
Like, yeah.
When she comes home, you should see her.
we see all this pressure. Everyone we talk to sees this pressure.
Yeah. It's still happening.
It's just funny, like, this whole meeting, he's just so confident, right?
Yeah.
I almost feel like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna teeter-tot with these questions, and he just says them in this way where he's funny.
Calm.
He's actually pretty enjoyable to watch.
Well, I told you guys a couple weeks ago, and we put it on I think we put it on the video too, that like that housing and real estate is the largest sector of our entire economy, and then healthcare is number 2. And so for that reason, I think that they are. I used the casual illustration of him like kicking his feet up and putting his hands behind his head and having a lemonade, because I feel like they think they can just do that right now. Because there's no reason for them, honestly. I don't see a reason for them to have to drop rates. It would help things, but it would make them better. But here's the thing, them holding isn't making it worse yet. If they go too far, it could make it worse, but then they're going to do what they always do. They're going to react to what was happening. They're never ahead. They're always behind. They're never the one who goes first. They're the reactor. So I think that's why we're going to see this summer be super calm. They're not going to do anything, and it's going to be the fall.
One thing I did take from him, and he did make pretty clear, is that, hey, we have all the tools in place to step in if needed, and we will if we have to.
Yeah, it's the stroke of a pen.
The money
not like
printer, baby. I know.
These tools.
That's why I'm saying it. Turn on the money printer, and there it is. Everybody.
Dude, bro's over here like, oh, I got an arc welder. I've got a wrench. I've got drills. I got no. It's a stroke of a pen. It's a decision. That's the tool.
I think it might be a click of a
button. That's the tools
he's
got. Quantitative easing.
Yeah.
Quantitative tightening. Oh, okay.